fascinating document. Fernandina Beach Downtown Parking, a project critique.
And our mission for you today, it's kind of twofold. We're going to unpack the very specific concerns raised about this local parking project in Fernandina Beach, Florida.
Okay.
But maybe more importantly, we want to uncover some critical lessons that apply anywhere, really. Lessons about community planning, project management, and just how vital historical context is in, urban development.
And what makes this critique so interesting, I think, is who wrote it. This isn't some abstract academic paper.
No, not at all.
It's from a Fernandina Beach native, someone with really deep roots there, FBHS class of 62, a veteran,
Right.
someone who came back to Nassau County in 2007 after a whole career in civil service, specifically a U.S. Navy R&D lab. And they've got degrees in ocean engineering and systems management.
Exactly. And get this, their family actually owns beachfront property bought way back in 1922.
Wow, 1922.
Yeah, including houses their father built, still in the family LLC. One's vacation rental, another's leased to a B&B. And until just recently, the author used to walk downtown with her dogs all the time.
So it's this incredible blend of personal history, knowing the town inside out,
Right.
and serious professional project management expertise. That really informs their concerns, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It gives the critique real weight.
So if you're interested in how local decisions get made, or maybe should get made, or just what thoughtful urban development looks like, let's unpack this. And it kicks off with something really surprising, a bit of local history.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting right off the bat.
Yeah.
The critique points to this historical precedent. Back in the late 50s or early 60s, Fernandina Beach actually put in parking meters downtown.
They did, so what happened?
Well, that's the thing. They took them out again after only a short time.
Just remove them. And the author found no record of why. That seems kind of crazy for a city project.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah.
And the author notes you can still see the stubs, the physical remnants of these old meter posts are right there in the sidewalks today.
Like little ghosts of a past policy.
Exactly. And from a project management standpoint, this is it's critical. The critique argues that not documenting why that old system failed is a major red flag for this new proposal.
Right, because how can you succeed if you don't even know why you failed before? You risk making the exact same mistake.
Precisely. The argument is clear. Without analyzing that past failure, the commission is basically flying blind, potentially repeating history. Those meter stubs are like a physical warning sign.
So this whole historical piece really sets the stage, demanding a certain level of thoroughness, you could say.
Definitely.
But beyond that history lesson, where does the critique say the current proposal starts to unravel from a project planning perspective?
Well, the critique basically outlines what a solid project development process should look like, and then points out where this parking plan seems to be missing some really fundamental steps.
Okay, so what's the first big miss, according to the critique? Where does it go wrong from the start?
It really starts at the beginning with initial concept development. Now, the commission did look back at some older studies, from consultants like Walker Parking, Zev Cohen, dating from 99 to 2018.
Right, they didn't ignore the past entirely.
No, but the critique suggests the current idea isn't freshly grounded in today's reality. It's like pulling out old blueprints without checking if the ground conditions or building codes have changed. There's no sense it comes from today's specific needs or problems.
That makes sense. You can't just dust off old plans. So what's the next step in a good process that seems to be missing here?
That would be the preliminary assessment. The critique finds basically no evidence that essential groundwork, data collection, was done.
Like what kind of data?
Well, the basics. Current user demographics, who is actually parking downtown. Seasonal occupancy rates, how full are the lots in July versus January. Annual average daily traffic counts, ADT, fundamental stuff.
Without that, how do you even define the problem you're trying to solve?
Exactly. It's like trying to prescribe medicine without diagnosing the patient.
Okay, so the concept is maybe recycled, the basic data is missing. What about the actual project proposal itself, the business case?
Yeah, the critique really takes aim here. It looks at the June 18th, 2025 workshop presentation and says it's, seriously lacking.
How so?
It's missing clearly defined objectives. What are they actually trying to achieve? Is it revenue? Turnover, it's unclear. There's no real cost-benefit analysis, and maybe most critically, no risk assessment. These are all, core components of any solid proposal.
Wow. And I guess you see the fallout from that when it comes to getting the public on board, that stakeholder review part.
Absolutely. The critique points directly to the public reaction. The
Hmm.
turnout at meetings, the backlash on social media, even that referendum petition. It all signals that the engagement just wasn't adequate.
Yeah.
True buy-in, the critique argues, needs transparency. It needs shared data that people can actually see and understand.
Which they don't have because it wasn't collected.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's the feasibility study planning, or rather the lack thereof.
They haven't even planned one.
Nope,
Oh.
no feasibility study planned. And the critique is really clear on this. You need at least a year of solid data collection, tracking those seasonal changes, doing focus groups, just to figure out if the whole idea is even viable.
So, putting it all together, the critique is saying these gaps,
Yeah.
they don't just weaken the project, they make it seem really risky, right? Like it could easily fail.
That's the core argument, yes. It undermines credibility and seriously increases the risk of failure, just like those meters back in the 60s, potentially.
Okay, so that covers the process flaws. But what about the practical side? Does the critique address the actual need for paid parking right now?
It does, and this is another really interesting point. Based on the author's own observations walking downtown, plus the limited data available from those older studies.
Like that 2000 supply-demand update.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Based on that, the author concludes that downtown parking is not actually facing a capacity crisis.
Really? So the core assumption might be flawed.
That's what the critique strongly suggests. It implies the status quo, while maybe not perfect, isn't the crisis scenario that seems to be driving this push for paid parking.
So if there isn't a major capacity problem, it really begs the question, what is this project trying to fix? Is it just about revenue? Managing turnover? That lack of clarity seems critical.
It is. And beyond that fundamental question, the critique warns about potentially significant unintended economic consequences if they go ahead with paid parking.
Consequences for who?
Well, one big one is the potential impact on merchants and employees. The author raises the concern that paid parking might just push downtown workers and shop owners, the people who need to be there all day, to park further away, maybe in residential areas, trying to find free spots.
Which could actually reduce the revenue the meters are supposed to generate.
Precisely. And it could really hurt the small businesses that make downtown what it is. The critique suggests a demographic study could probably confirm or deny this hypothesis pretty easily.
That makes sense.
What else? Another concern is event disruptions. Fernandina Beach has lots of festivals, right? Parades, Shrimp Fest.
Yeah, those definitely bring people in.
They do. But they also mess with parking. Demand shoots up, but supply often shrinks because streets are closed or taken over by vendors or pedestrians. This adds another layer of complexity to any parking model.
And the critique argues the commission needs to really think through these ripple effects.
Yes, they need to catalog them, weigh them, understand how paid parking interacts with these regular events.
So the bottom line, according to the critique, seems to be that without sorting out these issues, the flawed process, the questionable need, the potential economic harm,
The project risks alienating the very community it's supposed to be helping. It could end up doing more harm than good.
okay, but it's not all negative, right? The critique doesn't just tear things down. Does it offer any solutions? A better way forward?
Absolutely. That's a really important part of it. It offers some very concrete, actionable recommendations for how to approach this differently
Yeah.
to create something potentially more viable and beneficial.
Great. What's the first big recommendation?
First and foremost, conduct a comprehensive feasibility study, a real one,
Okay. What would that involve?
collecting all that missing data we talked about,
Mm.
seasonal occupancy rates, ADT data, detailed demographic profiles,
Mm.
and doing it properly, using focus groups, maybe online questionnaires, reaching out to all the different groups.
Like who?
Tourists, residents, people living on Amelia Island, business owners, their employees, folks coming over the bridge from the mainland, ADA representatives, tradespeople doing work downtown,
Mm-hmm.
a really wide net.
And crucially, digging into that history.
Yes. The study should make a real effort to find out why those old meters failed. Look at historical records. Interview longtime residents who might remember. Combine the present data with lessons from the past.
Makes sense. How long would that take?
The suggestion is 6 to 12 months. You need that time to capture the variations between the high season and the low season to get a truly accurate picture.
Okay, so step one, real data, real history. What's next?
Second, really enhance stakeholder engagement. And not just informational meetings, but genuine dialogue. Holding actual focus groups with merchants, employees, residents, those different demographic groups. Getting their input before decisions are made. Hosting public workshops where the data once collected is shared openly. Soliciting feedback. Using social media and town halls for transparent updates. Real back and forth.
Building trust through transparency. Okay, what else?
Third, use that data and feedback to develop a stronger project proposal. One that's actually robust,
Yeah.
meaning it clearly defines the goals. Is it revenue? How much? What are the proposed hours? What about permits for residents, islanders, trades, event vendors? All of those details need to be spelled out.
And the financial side.
Absolutely. A detailed cost-benefit analysis, a proper risk assessment. Then present all of this clearly, maybe with visuals that make it easy for everyone to understand at a future workshop.
Gotcha. Feasibility study, real engagement, better proposal, anything else?
Yes, finally, the critique urges them to explore alternative solutions before jumping straight to standard paid parking everywhere.
Like what kind of alternative?
Maybe demand-based pricing,
Yep.
higher rates during peak tourist season or busy weekends, but lower rates, or even free parking during off-peak times, or for locals, or maybe offering specific affordable parking permits just for downtown employees to make sure they aren't penalized and that prime spots remain available for customers. Thinking creatively.
So these recommendations, taken together, they're really about building a project with the community, respecting its history, its economy, its specific character.
Exactly. Rather than just imposing a one-size-fits-all solution from above.
Okay, so if we step back and look at the big picture here, this deep dive into Fernandina Beach's parking debate, it's really more than just about where people park their cars, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It serves as a powerful case study, really. It highlights the importance of thoughtful urban planning, the need to remember and learn from history, and what truly meaningful community engagement looks like, or perhaps what happens when it's lacking.
Yeah. The core message that comes through from the critique is this strong call for, well, slowing down and planning thoughtfully.
Right. It argues this current proposal, as it stands, is missing vital data, hasn't involved stakeholders enough, and genuinely risks repeating past mistakes.
So the author is essentially urging the commission, pause, do the homework, conduct a proper feasibility study, talk with the public, not just at them.
Precisely. Only then, the critique concludes, can you hope to create a parking system that actually enhances downtown rather than disrupting it or causing unintended harm?
It really brings into sharp focus how critical it is for any new initiative in any town, big or small, to be grounded in solid data informed by its own unique history and truly supported by the people it's supposed to serve.
Couldn't agree more.
So for you, our listener, maybe the takeaway question is this. How do the communities you know handle that delicate balance between progress and preserving tradition? And maybe more importantly, how can we all ensure that new initiatives genuinely enhance the places we live, rather than disrupting the lives and character that make them special? Something to think about.